The Algerian Air Force (AAF) is close to sealing a long-discussed deal to buy 14 Russian Su-34 medium-range fighter jets that have never been exported before. Various sources claim to have informed Menadefence that in January 2021, production of the first batch of 6 Su-34s for Algeria had begun. This batch must be ready before the end of 2021 and will be used for pilot training of Algerian instructors and maintenance personnel. Training will begin in Russia from early 2022. Another 14 Su-34s will be delivered in 2022 and 2023. The Russian Ministry of Defense has ordered about 20 Sukhoi Su-34 long-range combat bombers from the Sukhoi Company, known in Russia as a duck for its unique nose design. The order involved standard Su-34 aircraft with certain changes based on the experience of operating several dozen aircraft in training in Syria, TASS said, citing sources from the Sukhoi Aircraft Company, which manufactures the Su-34. Another contract for the purchase of upgraded Su-34M aircraft is expected to be signed in 2021. The production for Algeria, referred to by some Middle East-based media, could be part of 20 Su-34s for Russia's domestic needs. There was no confirmation of any negotiations or a possible deal between Russia and Algeria. Russia's Federal Military Technical Cooperation (FMTC), which generally leads the pre-sale negotiations, has yet to comment on the current status of the Algeria-Russia deal for the Su-34 jet. Media reports said Russia and Algeria reached an acceptable deal for the Su-34 jet after nearly 8 years. Reports of AAF Russia deals for Su-34 jets have emerged in 2020, but none of them have been confirmed by FMTC or Rosoboronexport, which are responsible for commercial transactions. Algeria appears to be a favorite ghost buyer of Russian weaponry. Previous reports said Algeria had signed a contract to buy 14 Russian Sukhoi Su-57 bombers by 2020. The media outlet based in the Middle East quoted Russia's Sputnik as saying that the government of Algerian President Abdelmajid Tebboune had purchased the fighter aircraft from Russia for nearly $2 billion. The report turned out to be baseless. Scramble magazine assesses that the Algerian variant will be called the Su-34ME, and it is hoped that the main difference between the version used by Russia and the version ME acquired by Algeria is identification, friend or foe (IFF), and other communication systems. The rest will be the same, including various weapons also tested and evaluated in and above Syria. The Su-34 is a Soviet-origin Russian twin-engine, twin-seat, all-weather supersonic medium-range fighter bomber, strike aircraft. It first flew in 1990, intended for the Soviet Air Forces, and it entered service in 2014 with the Russian Air Force. Based on the Sukhoi Su-27 flanker air superiority fighter, the Su-34 has an armored cockpit for side-by-side seating of its two-person crew. The Su-34 is designed primarily for tactical deployment against ground and naval targets, tactical bombing, attack, interdiction roles, including against small and mobile targets, on solo and group missions in daytime and at night, under favorable and adverse weather conditions, and in a hostile environment with counter-fire and electronic warfare (EU) countermeasures deployed, as well as for aerial reconnaissance. The Su-34 will eventually replace the Su-24 tactical strike fighter and the Tu-22 M3 long-distance bomber. The Su-34 shares most of its wing structure, tail, and engine nacelles with the Su-27, Su-30, with canards like the Su-30 MKI, Su-33, and Su-27M 35 to increase static instability, higher maneuverability, and to reduce trim drag. The Su-34 is powered by a pair of Saturn AL-31 FM1 turbofan engines, the same engines used on the Su-27 SM, giving the aircraft a maximum speed of Mach 1.8+ when fully loaded. Although having a slower maximum speed than the standard Su-27, the Su-34 can still handle high G loads and perform aerobatic maneuvers. When equipped with a full weapons load, the Su-34 has a maximum range of 4,000 kilometers (2,500 miles) without refueling. This can be extended further via aerial refueling. The airframe is also cleared to perform maneuvers of up to +9 G. The noise level of the Su-34 is 2 times lower than the level of its predecessors. The Su-34 is a three-surface design having both a conventional horizontal tailplane at the rear and a canard foreplane in front of the main wings. The foreplane provides both additional lift, force, and greater maneuverability. It has twin tail fins like those of Su-27 from which it is derived. The Su-34 has 12 hardpoints for 8,000 kilograms (17,600 pounds) of ordnance, intended to include the latest Russian precision-guided weapons. It retains the Su-27, Su-30's 30mm GSH-30-1 cannon, and the ability to carry R-77 air-to-air missiles, 6 PCs, and R-73, also 6, with the air-to-air missiles being primarily for defense against pursuers if detected by the rearward-facing radar. The maximum weight of any single munition carried is 4,000 kilograms. Its standoff weapons have range up to 250 kilometers, 160 miles. A Kabini electronic countermeasures (ECM) system is fitted as standard. Compared to other members of the Su-27 family, the Su-34 has an entirely new nose and forward fuselage with an armored cockpit providing side-by-side seating for a crew of 2, and the flattened nosecone earned it the nickname "duckling" or the duckbill. This gives the aircraft its most distinctive feature, the unusually large flight deck. Much of the design work went into crew comfort. The 2 crew members sit side by side in a large cabin, with the pilot-commander to the left and navigator-operator of weapons to the right in NPP Zvezda K-36 decimeters ejection seats. An advantage of the side-by-side cockpit is that duplicate instruments are not required for each pilot. Since long missions require comfort, the pressurization system allows operation up to 10,000 meters (32,800 feet) without oxygen masks, which are available for emergencies and combat situations. The crew members have room to stand and move about the cabin during long missions. The space between the seats allows them to lie down in the corridor, if necessary. A galley and toilet are located behind the crew seats. A ladder attached to the nose landing gear and a hatch in the cockpit floor is used to enter the cockpit. The cockpit is a continuous capsule of armor, 17 mm. The helmet-mounted display system (HMDS) acts as a command center. Precision target designation of all onboard weapons is tied to the movement of the pilot's head and eyes. The multifunctional Leninets V004 main radar has terrain following and terrain avoidance modes. Maximum detection range for the passive electronically scanned array forward radar is 200 to 250 kilometers against large surface targets. To cover the rear, a second aft-facing radar is mounted. The main radar can simultaneously track 10 air targets and attack 4 targets in the air, on land or on the water. The radius of detection for fighter-sized targets is up to 120 kilometers. The range of the survey is plus or minus 60 degrees. The rear warning radar system can warn of attack from behind and allow it to fire its R-73s against pursuers without needing to turn the aircraft. The rear radar is from Fazatron, Rasvit, and is unofficially called the N012. The Su-34 reportedly has a frontal radar cross-section that is an order of magnitude smaller than prior generation fighters. A new 4th-generation radar Pika-M of the complex BKR-3, having a range up to 300 kilometers, passed state tests in 2016. In 2021, some aircraft of the RU-AF pass modernization with special equipment that increases capabilities in detecting air and ground targets and expand the types of weapons used. In January 2016, Algeria was negotiating a purchase of 12 aircraft for its air force. The deal should have been signed in late 2016, but in 2017 the talks were still ongoing and no sale was made. On the 27th of December 2019, Algeria has reportedly signed a contract for 14 aircraft as part of large military deal that also includes purchase of Su-35 and Su-57 fighters. However, neither Russian nor Algerian governments ever confirmed that such deal exists.